to you live in 2021. It's our first time being together. I'm just making sure everybody can see me okay. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I've seen all of your social media posts for those of you that are posting. So, a lot of you had happy holidays. Some of you had more emotional holidays than others. The bottom line is we made it through the other side and we are in 2021. And so, while I'm double checking my feeds, I just want to introduce myself to some and reintroduce myself to others. I am Dr. Tureka Louis. I am your partner in success and progress, and I help people to succeed using training and education. And one of the most exciting things I do is to provide support for people looking to better their lives. And so I wanted to give myself some space to relax and rejuvenate and reconnect with the things that are important over the holidays. So that's why you didn't see very much posting, but you will definitely see plenty of me in 2021 because I'm on a mission to get a message out that I believe will help people to be more successful in their lives and to combat some of the things that we are dealing with in society today. I believe in battling it from the boots on the ground perspective, especially in your own life. And so thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I'm double checking my traps as I make sure that everybody can see me and hear me. And I've got you on several different platforms already. So I'm going to trust that you can hear me just fine. Thank you so much for joining. Those of you that did, please let me know if you're watching me live right now. And if you are watching via the replay, please jump in the comments and let me know that as well by just commenting replay in there. And let me know how you're doing today. Let me know that you're here, okay? Because as I jump into this live, I don't plan on being on long, but it's always good to really connect with you and to hear from you, so that we can definitely communicate, and that makes sure that I'm addressing concerns that other people are going to have as they watch this later. So I want to talk to you really briefly and just revisit a couple of things that I think are going to be super important if you're trying to make 2021 a breakout year. Now, I am not a firm believer in New Year's resolutions. That doesn't mean you shouldn't make them, but I just, statistics say that over half of people drop those New Year's resolutions before the second week in January. And of those people that hold on to them, about 85% of them drop it before March, April, May, somewhere like that. And so the bottom line is a resolution alone is not going to help you. But every year, at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year, we start making promises to ourselves because we look around at our lives and we realize that we want something to change. We need something to change if we're going to feel like we're living up to our fullest potential. And to be honest, some of it is because we're not as happy as we would like to let the world think that we are. And as our social media feeds indicate that we are. So what I want to talk to you about is a couple of things you can carry from 2020 into 2021 that are definitely going to help you to not only level up, but to live the life that you desire and deserve. All right. And I want to speak specifically about work and school. Why? Because if you're in school, that's taking up more time than anything else that you do. And if you are working in the workforce, that is where you spend more of your time than you do with anything or anybody else. And that's really a wake up call. Most people who work are working enough hours that they spend more time on their jobs than they spend with their families. And so you really want to evaluate, what you're doing during all of that time and make sure that it's worthwhile and make the changes you need to make if it's not. So let's talk a little bit. The first thing we learned about school and work is that it can all come tumbling down. 2020 and COVID-19 and political unrest and racial inequality that would not be ignored anymore taught us that all of these systems that we were depending on in work and in school and other ways where we were trying to build a better life for ourselves, they could all come crumbling down. And there would be nothing that we could do about it as individuals. That's what we learned in 2020. And that was some scary times for a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody didn't suffer in 2020. Contrary to what people are saying and what they would like for you to believe, there were some people that came up. Look at Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, becoming richer and richer and rich at this point. A lot of people made a lot of money and advanced in a lot of ways during this COVID pandemic and so many other things that happened in this past year. So don't get it twisted. It wasn't a guaranteed fail for everybody, even though we went through some tough times. And because of that, that means if somebody can win, you can too. But so point number one is it can all come tumbling down. Point number two is if all you have done is buy into those systems, school and work, as we were taught, going through school when we were younger and coming out into the workforce and trying to live life and trying to provide for our kids, if all you did was follow all the rules, you realize that it could all be taken away. You realize that you had nothing. You might have you realize that you might be left with nothing to secure yourself and your family if the right change or the right impact hit. Because a lot of people who thought they were doing very well found themselves wondering how they were going to stay in their houses this past year. We also learned that those systems can take no concern or care for your health, right? We have a lot of school systems that started requiring students to come back to school before we knew anything about COVID. And I'm not saying whether or not I think that that's right or wrong. We can get into that debate later. I'm not scared of it. It's just not what this live is about. But that students could be required to come back to school regardless of how their parents felt. And the only choices that you would have would be to pull your child from that school or bring them and drop them off in a space that you may or may not feel was safe for them. So who has the power in that situation? The same thing with your workspace, right? A lot of people are working remotely, but not everybody was working remotely this past year. And I say that to say not so much, this is not just about COVID, is it? This is about you being able to make decisions that you think are best for your family versus you being told what to do. So again, what you found out was if those systems are not necessarily operating in your best interest, then you're just out of luck. You have nothing to stand on. You have nothing to carry forward with you if you have only followed the rules. All right. And so having said that, I'm going to tell you the lessons that you can really take from all this so that you can plunge forward into success. And these will work no matter what. And they will work whether you choose to stay working for someone else as their employee or whether you choose to own your own business. They will work whether you are in school or out of school. They will work whether you are a proponent of education or you are against it. Number one, only depend on you. That doesn't mean you can't connect with other people. That doesn't mean you can't have community. That doesn't mean you can't have friends. But if you think for 1 minute that anybody's going to take better care of you than you take of yourself, then you are sadly mistaken. And that goes for you taking care of yours as it relates to your children in school. Only depend on you. So that means that if we're talking about schools and you're a parent of a K through 12 learner or a college student and you're still the one that's responsible, then you need to investigate and make sure that they have the best options and that they are maximizing their opportunities and potentials in school. The same is true for work. Don't assume that your job or your boss or the company that you work with is going to give you the right career path for you. They don't love you like that. You have to love you like that. And then find where you create value in yourself for them. And then you guys connect in a mutually beneficial relationship. Do not be in denial and think that just because the people that you work with are kind and caring, that they are going to be able to take care of you and tell you what to do with your life. They will absolutely not. Not to your best interest. So only depend on you. Number two, think like an entrepreneur, right? I did a video a long time ago called Think Like a CEO, but I have since evolved and I understand that a CEO is still a role in an organization. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be aspiring to be one, but thinking like an entrepreneur means you own all of it. You own the risk, you own the responsibility, but you also get to decide how the reward is used. So think like an entrepreneur, even if you are in a career where you work for others. The entrepreneurial mindset is still going to get you further faster and it's still going to make you more valuable. And that is a negotiating tool that will leave you eating well and feeding others should you choose to do so. And the same for your kids. When you teach them to think like that, it's not that they don't go to school. It's not that they don't learn. It's not that they don't try to build a career, but they do it in a way that takes ownership and responsibility for their actions and their outcomes so that they can create something that's of value, greater value than it would be if somebody else were charting their course. All right. So that's number two. Number three, don't just take what's given to you, even if it's free. All right. And that includes on your job. That includes as it relates to your insurance. That includes as it relates to your earnings. Most people leave about 10 to 15 grand on the table because they don't negotiate when they go into jobs. Once you learn how to negotiate, you will be surprised how much more you can earn and how much space you can give yourself in terms of time off when you need it. And you'll find yourself being treated like somebody that is of value to the company that you work with, as opposed to somebody that feels that is being treated like they did you a favor hiring you. Because you're giving something in return, you're making them money. All right. So don't just take what's given. When it comes to schools, so what that the local school is free? Investigate it like you want to be an informed shopper. Act like you're on the BMW lot and you're trying to figure out which 750 Li, and I may be dating myself, but which one is best for you. Do not just accept what's given. You have options even within that. And every school that you send a child to is being paid. I've got a video on that. So go to my YouTube channel. If you're not already there, Evolve and Expand. I have a video on how schools are funded where you'll understand that your child is a paycheck worth at least 10 grand, but usually worth twice that, depending on what other services that the school is taking responsibility for providing for your child. So don't think you're getting anything for free. The school is getting paid to give your child meals. The school is getting paid to educate your child. The school is getting paid to provide extra support, and they're getting paid far more than it costs to do so. So you might as well be an informed shopper and make sure you're getting the best. All right. Number 4, take responsibility, full responsibility for yourself and your outcomes. It doesn't mean that everything is your fault, but take responsibility for making the choices that it takes to make something happen, to move something, shake something, to make your life a life that you want to live. Because if you don't take responsibility and somebody else takes responsibility for you, they're going to mold you into a plan for their success, not your own. They will mean well, but that's just how it'll be. And it doesn't matter how much they love you. If it's a family member or whatever, that's still the case. Guarantee it. Take control. Take the steering wheel and drive your car, because no good ever came of allowing someone else to drive for you. Hi, Hillary. I just looked down and saw that you are watching from Chicago. I appreciate you. You are wonderful, and I love your content. We've got to hook up later. But take a moment to make sure that you are the one driving your car. And for those of you that are religious or spiritual, I am not saying take the wheel away from your higher power. I am not saying take the wheel away from your creator, but you have a responsibility. Even if you see yourself as a child of a divine creator, you have a responsibility to grow up so that you can become all of your potential. So you need to start taking steps toward that, figuring out what that looks like. And that starts with taking full responsibility. And that does not negate faith. It makes you more operative in your faith. All right. And then last but not least, be accountable. Check up on yourself. Make sure that you're getting the results that you said that you were going to get, that you're doing the work that you need to do to be happy, to be whole, to be complete, and to be successful. Now, if you take those things with you when you evaluate your career, if you take those things with you when you evaluate education, whether it's for yourself or a loved one, if you take those steps to evaluate on that level, I promise you, you will see changes in your life. Now, over the next few days, this week, I'm definitely going to be dropping more videos because I want to talk to you about 7 areas that you want to work on if you want to make 2021 your breakout year for success, meaning the year that you kicked it into a gear that you had never even known existed before. All right. And then we're going to dig deeper and go into that. I got courses in the works for those of you that are serious about taking charge of your life. You want to educate yourself for success, whether it's in your life, whether it's in business, whether it's in how you're going to pursue your education. The bottom line is this: nothing is given to you. Everything is created by you. So let's do this together. I'm here for your support. You can comment below. You can DM me. You can let me know. But I am creating more and more programs because my goal this year is to support and facilitate as much success for as many people as I possibly can. As I said, I'm on fire about this message, and you'll hear more about it with every single broadcast. But for those of you that can be quite sensitive, you need to brace yourself, because that means I'm also going to be honest and authentic, because that's the only way I can support and help you. Because my goal is that you become all that you can be, that you take the reins of your life and you build a life that you want to live, and that you are then able to give more to the people that you love and in the ways that you love. So thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for joining me live. I really am so happy to see you today. I know this is the first broadcast that I've done in 2021, but I can tell you this: it is already a great year because you are standing here ready and willing with tools for success. So until next time, it's your girl, Dr. Tureka Louis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou, your partner in success and progress. Always remember, I love you, I believe in you, and for now, I am out.